Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Gurong Vlogger ng Kuwait. We have arrived at the final stage of writing process, post-writing. This part entails looking over your draft critically, paying attention to content, organization, and mechanics by using techniques like revising, editing, and proofreading. While revising, editing, and proofreading are among the last things that you do when finished writing a paper, they are not always the easiest. So Abdul Halim, Aya, and I will be talking about the different post-writing strategies.
Going back through your whole draft from start to end and improving on or clarifying your writing subject's meaning. This can include adding in, taking out, moving around, and polishing certain parts of your draft to make it much more understandable and easier for reading. Revision focuses on the bigger picture of your draft, so you can resolve any significant issues on content that may have otherwise been hidden while you were writing. Editing, sometimes known as proofreading, is the more meticulous process of clarifying meaning by revising each word and line of your draft. This includes you working on grammatical principles such as subject-verb agreement, verb tense, noun and pronoun usage, prepositions, sentence transitions, and verb tense, and typographical matters such as punctuation, spelling, and capitalization. Note that while revision focuses on the bigger picture of your draft, editing focuses on its finer details, making sure every word contributes precise meaning to your writing subject. Always remember that revision and editing are two different activities. Isolating one from the other actually makes the rewriting process much easier. But whether you are revising or editing, it is important for you to go back to your work with an analytical eye, so you can turn in a satisfying final draft with minimal errors. Only then will your draft be ready to face your readers.
Revision can be simplified in two steps. The first step is to take a bird's-eye view of your draft, to reread it as a whole. Reviewing your draft this way lets you do two things. Check if you have attained your writing purpose, to entertain, to enlighten, to persuade, etc., and to check if you use the language and tone to best serve your writing purpose. Note that at this level of revision, you need not zoom in on any details yet. You can do quick rereadings of your draft just to see whether or not it works overall. Already satisfied with your overall draft? You can move on now to the second step of revision, which is reviewing your draft portion by portion, adding in, filtering, and reorganizing content according to form and flow. This narrower view of your draft gives you a better idea of what works and what needs to work with respect to the structure of your draft. What you'll be keeping in mind now are the relationships between sections of the draft, the connections between your ideas from the beginning to the end. First of all, the beginning should hook in the reader, evoke their interest on your writing subject. Once they are interested, they will want to read your point-by-point discussion on the topic. Each of your points should support and lead to the next point while moving forward with your meaning. This is especially true if your draft introduces a new idea previously unfamiliar to the reader. If your draft raises any questions or issues in the reader's mind, these should be resolved by the time they reach your conclusion. Finally, the conclusion itself should be effective, leaving a lasting impression on your reader, so they can continue thinking about your subject even if they are done reading it. Other factors in writing may also need to be considered. Writers look at the form they have used for their drafts. For example, if your purpose for writing is to describe a person or a place, then you should be working on a descriptive essay. If you are shedding light on a current event, then you should be working on an expository essay. The pace of your draft is also important. It should be fast enough that it can hold the reader's attention all throughout, but slow enough that the reader has time to digest all of your points. Then there is also proportion. Sections of your draft that drag on unnecessary details should be trimmed down, while sections that fall short on detail should be expounded on.
Once you have revised all the content of your draft to your liking, you can now proceed to the final stage of the writing process, which is editing. Remember that editing or proofreading is revising your draft line by line, word per word, according to proper grammar, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. While that is how the process goes, editing must be viewed as your final preparations and changes on your draft before it faces your readers. To effectively get your message across to them in the best way, you, as the writer, will need to be very concise in your writing and make every word count. Therefore, you will be required now to be more thorough than ever in rereading your drafts and spotting errors. As in revising, you will also be required multiple rereadings of your draft in editing, with each rereading having a different editing focus from the last, so you can spot more errors more accurately. For example, take a first rereading to check only for subject-verb agreements and correct pronoun usage. Your second rereading will have you focus on next on fragments and run-on sentences. Your third rereading will focus on spelling. Your fourth rereading on punctuation, and so on and so forth. You may need to take as many rereadings as you can to minimize the risk of error in your draft. This may take some time on your part, but rest assured, there is nothing more satisfying than turning in a final draft that reads effortlessly.
Finally, remember that writers usually note errors in their draft by marking them with editing symbols. Though these symbols are not needed to be used in the editing process, they are very helpful because they give the writer an idea of how specific errors should be corrected. For your reference below, this is a list of common editing symbols. Study them on your own time and pace, and practice using them on your own draft until you feel like you have mastered them already. This will also help you understand any markings that your teacher or classmate may use when giving comments on your own work. And shown here are some common proofreading abbreviations.
And that's it for our vlog. I hope you guys learned some new strategies to make sure you finish off your essays effortlessly. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Gurong Vlogger in Kuwait. See you guys next time.